for your kids, what's the limit on price? So let's say your kid walks in.
$20 or less.
Get out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So sneakerhead could do two things.
I don't mean I don't mean just the laces. I mean the shoe, like the whole thing.
Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to another Dadversation. Welcome to Just Us Dads. Thank you once again for tuning in. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the comments once again. And as always, I'm joined by Chris. Chris is up there. He changed setup today, Chris. He's no longer in his office.
You guys wanted more lighting. I'm giving you more lighting.
We were complaining about the lighting situation. So he kicked out the family and he's using the family room. And George is also with us. We do have another guest that we're going to get to very soon. But we got some announcements. First of all, if this is the first time that you're listening to this podcast, do us all a favor, subscribe. And while you're at it, go ahead and follow us on all the other platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all of those platforms, so you can go ahead and follow, subscribe, and like. We have a great episode today for many reasons. First and foremost, because it's launching the first episode in the month of June. So this is the Father's Day special episodes that we have planned out throughout the entire month. So that's number one that we're all looking forward to. Of course, we have an amazing guest that we're going to get to. But third, and more importantly, we do have a giveaway that we will be giving out to all the lucky dad. So this is what you guys will be winning. It's a 12-year-old Glenfiddich Scotch. So we got that for you guys, and we're going to put that in the draw. And a lucky dad is going to get that. So basically, it's very simple to participate. All you need to do is follow us on any platform. So you can go on either Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you follow us, like us. Obviously, the more platforms that you like us on, the more chances you'll have on winning the draw. So make sure you go over to Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, follow us on all the platforms. Just make it easy for yourself. You will have essentially until midnight on June 18th to qualify. And we will be announcing the winner during the day on June 18th. Okay, so you have until midnight, June 18th. Go on all the platforms, get your name on our followers and also on our subscribers, so you can win this beautiful bottle that we will be shipping out to you wherever you are. And that's it. Let's get to our guest, because we have a major podcaster with us today. His name is Chris Chiu. He's one of the hosts of the very popular and very successful The Sneaker Podcast. So for anyone out there that loves wearing shoes, we're going to talk all about that. But in addition to that, because he's also a dad, we're going to talk a little bit about family and how all that kind of comes together. Chris, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yo, thanks for having me.
You know, the other day, we're talking with the guys and we're thinking, okay, let's think of interesting people that we can bring on. I've known George for I don't know how long, and he's like, yeah, I know this guy. He has a podcast. It's very popular. I think it's very popular. I'm like, really? Okay, what's his name? He's like, oh, this guy, Chris Chiu. I'm like, okay, let's check out his podcast. And then we realized that this is not just a basic little podcast like ours is. It's a major one. We're talking about over 250,000 downloads. You guys are doing well with that.
We're doing all right. Like you said, it's a very successful podcast during the intro. I was like, let's not pump it up and then disappoint everyone that's tuning in, you know. It's all right. Yeah,
it's a great show.
We like it. We've been having fun with it, and it's always about something that we like, so it's interesting. Yeah.
So what's the link over here with George? You are friends with his wife, I think.
Our wives are very good friends, best friends. Like
Chris's family is basically part of my extended family.
Okay, you could say that. Yeah.
His wife and my wife.
George married into the family.
Very close.
Hey.
Yeah. I say the other way, but he doesn't agree.
In this context, it's you that married into that family.
I've known Chris as long since I started dating my wife. So and him and his wife were together at the time, and we've all been close ever since.
Yeah.
Was
I moved into the home across the street from his in-laws.
oh,
Yeah.
And then George found out and he's like, forget this. I'm moving to like Kanziak or I'm getting out of here, man.
I need 10 kilometer radius.
It's too close, man. Too close.
tell me, how does this whole thing start? Because I don't think any of us has any interest or any knowledge in sneakers. Honestly, we just go, we find whatever fits and looks okay, and that's our reality. And I'm sure a lot of dads out there pretty much share that reality. But I do know that there's this enormous craze around sneakers and having them custom made, and there's all this like subculture around running shoes. How does that whole thing start with you? Like, how do you get into that?
Well, if I can try to like make it more understandable, you guys have like hobbies, something that you really enjoy doing. You know, George, you like playing music. I just met you other guys, but I know
Yeah,
probably have some
we're
hobbies.
all kind of into music. Yeah.
So when you're looking at your music and then you're looking at your instruments and what you can do with your instruments and what you can produce with your instruments and the connections that you've made through your instruments, doesn't that always bring you to some place where you kind of escape and you kind of have like, wow, we just jammed out and we had like this crazy session,
Yeah.
and I feel awesome,
Yeah.
like top of the world type of stuff, right? So for sneaker guys, and I'm trying to speak for all sneaker guys that exist, yeah. Whenever they get a sneaker that they've been hunting or that they've been anticipating, the hunt is one part of the thrill, and then the getting of the shoe is another part of the thrill. Me, for myself, I then decided to go further and try to do more with just getting the sneakers and owning them. I've started doing like sneaker photography. So for those who are new to it, when they take a look at it, they're like, oh, okay, it's a bit weird, but all right, keep on getting on. And then I kept doing it, and eventually the goal was always to get like, you get noticed by brands, you get noticed by stores, they contact you, you start working with them, like just collaborations and stuff. And from there, the game is more or less to just keep adding lines to your resume.
Right.
So you do sneaker photography, you do blogging, you do YouTube, you do, and then we went the podcast route. And that's how it happened.
And all the guys on the podcast pretty much share that same interest. So for you guys, if I understand it, I mean, it's not just about finding the shoes in the store like we do. I mean, you guys look out for, the special edition or special designs, or how does it work? I mean, do you go after people that make them custom and you want to buy their creations, or how does it work? Or you find the special stores that kind of have different models than the regular people get to buy?
No, well, there's different type of sneakerheads. There's guys that are purists. So we, on our podcast, we have a guy that's like a huge Michael Jordan fan.
Mhm.
Like everything about Michael Jordan, he knows about every details about the shoes, the years, the color codes, where they were manufactured, all that stuff. He has a brain for that, and he found a group of guys that all love that as well. His passion, he turned it into something like just to educate the people. His Instagram's all about like posting comparison photos of old sneakers, new sneakers, telling the people the difference. He worked so well at this because he loves it so much that just this past All-Star game, he was invited out to Chicago, and he had a supper with Jordan Brand.
Wow.
And he got to talk with the Jordan Brand reps, and they all got gifts, and it was a cool thing. We have other guys that love the hunt, love what they call the hype of it all.
Yeah.
And there's a term that they use, which is called hype beast, right? So a person not only seeks out the hype because it's hot right now. I'm a self-proclaimed like hype beast. I like that stuff because more or less I've done all the other stuff that we've done throughout the years in terms of collecting. And for me now, it's just like, let's just have fun. I'm like, this excites me right now. I want to get it. And I'll get it, and you go over that way. there's like different. We even have a guy that works for Adidas, and his passion is three stripes, and he learns everything about three stripes, and he goes that way. You know.
It's incredible. It's incredible to discover, like we said before, like this subculture, because for so many people, it's just footwear behind a glass, in a store somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And there's just this whole universe that's around it. I definitely find it fascinating. I mean, for you, when did you realize that this is what I'm intrigued by? This is what I want to do. Like when did that kickstart for you?
Well, I really liked. I always liked sneakers, so that was a thing. But what really pushed it past whatever I could expect was, I once saw my friend. I made friends with a guy that he started his own sneaker blog. He used to work for other blogs. He started his own blog, became really successful. He was invited out to Michael Jordan's house for a sneaker launch, the Jordan 29. They invited all these influencers and these YouTubers, and they invited them over to view the launch info, the press release, and then they got to play on his court.
Wow.
Like they had their own dressing room with like their names on it, with like all the gear was there free. And I saw my friend do that, and I was like, I want that. I want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, how can I do that for here in Montreal? How can I do that? And I was like, well, let's try to work on sneaker photography, doing that, and then starting a blog. I started a small blog, and we just wrote articles about whatever. And all it took was a bit of luck and connecting with the right people. There was one person that believed in me. She worked for Converse, and we went out to one of her events, and then eventually she gave me a couple of jobs, like projects, like what we did. And eventually once one brand notices you, the other brands kind of notice that the other brand noticed you.
Yeah.
And there's like a whole list of people that they send product out to, and then they expect you, like they send you product, they expect you to take photo or to talk about it or to do a video or whatnot, and it goes on from there.
Yeah. All right, George. For anyone not watching the video clip, his phone just fell off.
So, Chris, I know you kind of spoke about this. I don't know if we were recording, but what made, because I think George kind of like mentioned it, a shoe is very visual. You can have different colors, you can have different laces, you can have different stitches, right? What made you guys decide to go only on the podcast? Why just do the audio instead of showing the audience like the video?
When we first started, we were audio only. Like we wanted to get shit settled, just to get out there, get the audio done and get out there. So long time ago, I was talking to this brand rep about my idea of starting a blog and blah, blah, blah. And I kept asking tons of people, what do you think? What do you think? Should I do it? Should I do it? Should I do it? And she was like, let me tell you something. First of all, you buy too many sneakers. This is a brand rep that told me this. Second, progress over perfection. So
yeah, good advice.
Goes, get it running and perfect it on the way. So I was like, oh, okay. She goes, you'll never get it started if you wait for perfection.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So with that, and it was on the heels of me coming back from my first trip for a sneaker brand. Like a sneaker brand sent me out to a location to do work for them. And I was coming off of that, so I was on a high. I had a huge head. I thought I was the shit, man. And then my friend Mike, he messages me one day and he goes, hey, man, what do you think about this shoe? And then blah, 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 blah. And then he goes, yo, we should do a podcast. Because we had spoken about it a while back. And I go, and me with my big head, I'm like, let's do it. We can do anything. So let's do it. And I said to myself, okay, we launch on this date. We launch on this date. We had one guy missing. We still launched. Because if we kept waiting for shit to happen, like everything to be perfect before we launched, we would have never done it. So our main thing was to get it out there. Like, of course, it would have been great. It would make sense, Chris, to put visuals for a sneaker podcast.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to get it out. I wanted to push, and so I'm an asshole. Sometimes I'll push the guys. when are we podcasting? When are we podcasting? When are we podcasting? And
You keep the guys in check.
no, it's not. They don't need to be kept in check, but it's more like sometimes I don't feel like it, man. I just don't feel like it. But you're like, no, you got to do it. Or
Yeah.
you take 1 week and say, what's another week?
Yeah.
What's another week? And then next thing you know, you're like 3 weeks down the line and you didn't put anything out, and you lose your audience, you lose your momentum, you don't know how to do it anymore.
You show inconsistency. So.
That's right.
Yeah. So even though,
so I mean, I could imagine also these people that you're catering to are sneakerheads. So the visuals, they don't need them. They probably have a snapshot of it in their head already.
Yeah, I don't know if this translates, but when you guys talk music, you guys can probably decipher shit that I can't read sheet music. I can't do shit. Or you guys are talking about like beats or like rhythm, or I don't understand that. But when you talk amongst each other, you probably understand.
Yeah,
without having to say much, right?
Yeah. It's like this common language that you guys know, and it's all this lingo that exists in like that universe that you guys are living in, you know?
Yeah.
So when you mentioned the hunt, Chris, I'm imagining you're talking about the ones that are hard to find, the rarities from other years and stuff like that. Like when you mentioned Jordans, and there's like 30 models of them. There's some models that are just untouchable because they've been taken off the market. Everybody has them.
Yeah. Well, what they do also is they reissue a lot of numbers. They reissue a lot of shoes. So it's always like the sneaker world. They launch product every week. It used to be at a lesser frequency, but I think there's a theory that they've been launching at a higher frequency to combat reselling. So they sell a shoe, a reseller will buy it all up and then sell it for a higher price. So they don't want that to happen as much. So they flood the market with hot stuff every week. The sneakerhead's attention is very short. I miss out 1 week. I feel crappy. I feel sad. I might do something crazy and pay resale money, or I wait 7 days and boom, another hot item pops up.
So you're saying
okay again.
So you're saying that most of these brands, they put out new shoes every week?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Just like this week alone, we're Thursday. Are we Thursday?
Yeah,
we're Thursday. Tomorrow morning, there's like the hottest launch. Possibly, it's a contender for shoe of the year that's launching tomorrow. So it's a Friday. Like, what's it? They launch on Wednesdays, on Fridays, on Saturdays. It used to be Saturdays only.
Yeah. So what brand is this launching the shoe?
This one is a Nike shoe. It's a collaboration with Travis Scott. So whether it be for actual wearing or like for style or for reselling, it's gonna be hot, both sides.
So you buy all these things? Like you're obviously a collector, I imagine.
I have shoes. Yeah.
How many shoes do you have?
I don't know. I don't know the exact number.
I've never seen Chris wear the same pair twice.
George doesn't pay attention to my shoes. He looks into my eyes when he talks to me.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Let me ask you a question, because I know nothing about this. I own shoes, but I like to look. I buy it, and that's it. I wear it on my feet, and that's it. So I'm learning. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
When you're talking about collectibles, is this like something you'd buy? You'd keep like an action figurine in plastic and not touch it with a humidor, and you got to keep the right temperature, or you go after things that people have worn, and like how does it work? Like a collectible is something like, let's say LeBron James has worn. Is that worth a lot of money? Do you guys chase that as well?
Yeah, but those are player editions, player exclusives. Those are hard or game worn shoes. Those are like another market.
That's
it's
okay.
Like really expensive.
That's another level.
There's two types of collectors: people that wear their sneakers. But they like to have a variety, like collect all of the sneakers from one brand or different brands. They mix it up. There's some people that buy sneakers, yes, just to keep what they call dead stock, so untouched. And there's a market for both, and you can play the resale game. Well, let's not call it resale game. You can play the market for both sides. Some shoes that are worn are still worth a lot of money. Some shoes that are new are definitely worth a lot of money. Just as an example, The Last Dance docuseries just launched right on
Oh yeah, it
Netflix
just
for
came
us in
out. Yeah,
Canada.
Yeah, I watched it.
Because of The Last Dance docuseries, all or most Jordan sneakers went up in value.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
especially the ones that were featured in the docuseries. So during his championship runs from 91 all the way to 98, all those sneakers just jumped in value. You know?
That's incredible.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Chris, you never answered the question. Like, how many pairs do you have?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can
Like,
ballpark it.
Yeah, go for it.
200 range.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So
That's
there's,
not bad.
there's a whole dedicated room just for that.
They more or less fit in one closet.
Really, 200?
Maybe they they
Oh, wow.
flood out a bit, but yeah.
Do you just open the door sometimes, just stare at them and all?
Not anymore. I keep a few because I do like the sneaker photos, right?
Yeah.
So every now and then I'll be like, I have an idea. I want to do this. I want to showcase this about the sneaker, and I'll pull them out. So I know what's in there. Like,
Yeah. Do you keep these essentially just for you, or is there like this trading thing that can happen in this universe, or how does it work? Like if you have shoes, like do you trade? Like is it like hockey cards used to be, or?
Yeah, it's absolutely like hockey, better than hockey cards.
Yeah.
Because look, there's resale sites. There's one called Goat. There's one called Grailed. One called StockX. And I'm taking StockX as an example because the word stock is in its name. There's sneakers that you can treat as kind of like investments where at release day, it's retail price. And then the tastemakers, they decide which shoes are going to be hot. And then resale value is how much you can sell it for after the fact, right?
Wow.
And the value of a shoe can dip, can go up, all depending on like random events. Oh, a docuseries just launched. This shoe just pops off. But before that, a month before that, you sold it. So you sold at the wrong time.
Yeah.
You held it 4 more weeks. It would have made double your money. So there's stuff like that that's going on.
Oh wow, man! And let me ask you: is there like a market where it's just people are trying to pass off fake shoes? So you show up in the back of an alley and somebody's giving you fake shoes that they bought for $2, and you pay like $400 for it.
So the fake shoe issue was more prevalent years past.
Okay,
like, they're still here. There's still a lot of fake shoes, but the fake shoes are really made well, by the way. Like they're still a sneaker, right?
Yeah.
They're just not authentic. There's like specific things that are off about them, but that's not, with this age of information, everyone can kind of figure it out if it's fake or not. And all these resale sites act as a like the middleman, or most of them act like the middleman, and they'll authenticate it before you get them and whatnot. So the issue right now is not fakes; it's more bots. So
what?
Yeah. So Nike launches this super hot shoe tomorrow morning. It goes online. The bots come in. The bots recognize a specific word or specific code within the sale. And then once it pops up, adds to cart, checks out, boom, all gone. The regular buyer can't get them anymore.
Wow.
Because the bots are there.
The thing is about the running shoes is that this shows how big this hobby is. I know a lot of people that I met in the last year or two that it's a thing. It's a really big thing that I just didn't know anything about.
Yeah, me neither. It's interesting.
I always thought it was just Chris because I knew Chris, but
yeah.
But is there a heavy presence here in Montreal?
There's a good community, sneakerheads, like people that like sneakers. People that do, like, I take it a bit further. Like I do a bit more with my sneakers. Like I do too much with my sneakers. Meaning, like I take the photos and I try to get out there and I try to like. So I haven't met a lot of Montrealers that do all the extra shit as well. I know, and all the ones that do it here in Toronto and Vancouver. Canada is a big country, but it's a small country. So I know all the people that do it in Canada.
Wow.
do what I
Small,
do in Canada.
Yeah.
But in terms of sneakerheads, tons of sneakerheads.
So how does this come into the family now? Because I mean, I've had issues like buying pants. Just to give you an idea, I'm like, I need pants. Yeah, we don't have time. Don't spend money here. Don't do that. I mean, and you're buying shoes almost on a weekly basis. I mean, how does the wife handle all this?
My wife, Carmen, she's the best. She's great. She lets me do it. She lets me handle my shit the way I want to. My wife recognizes that that's my world, right? And I've told her, I've said, look, if ever you want me to stop or to like limit it or change the way I do it or whatever, just tell me. Like I'm ready. Like she's so permitting in the way that she handles me handling my sneakers.
Yeah.
That if she were to ask me and me say like no, fuck off, then I'd be a really big asshole.
Yeah.
Right? She's given me all this leeway already, and I might be in a different situation from other sneakerheads. I've done whatever I've needed to do in sneakers already. Like I've done it. So that's for my own like satisfaction. I've done it. I'm okay. So if she ever asks me to say to quit it, I'll be okay. And I've offered that to her. I go, look, if ever you want me to like chill or not do something, just tell me, and I won't feel any way weird about it. Like I'll understand your point of view. And she was like, no, what kind of asshole would I be to ask you to stop something that you love?
Yeah,
like, okay,
right.
No, but the question is, does she think you're a little crazy?
I think there was a point probably that she thought I was crazy. Yeah. But then I'm pretty good at what I do.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
like I'm a good sneaker shooter, and I'm pretty good at like whatever projects I do that are related to sneakers. I've had more successes than failures. So if she sees that I'm doing something that not everyone can do, and I do it well enough, then she's like, all right, maybe it's not all that crazy.
But it's a passion that you have, and I think that she recognized it. I mean, Chris, for you, the other Chris, you know, like you see a guitar that you want and you go buy it. I mean, has Alex ever asked you, why are you buying a guitar, or why would you have an interest in buying another instrument?
No, absolutely not. And I share the same, well, it was going to come out wrong. I was going to say I share the same wife as Chris, but no, the same type of wife as Chris. The same type of wife as Chris.
So you get her half the time.
Very cool, very open, but there is, after the 15th or maybe 17th, 18th guitar, it is a little crazy. I know she thinks it's a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I get it, and I like the crazy. It's all about the crazy, right? So I get it.
How many kids do you have, Chris? You have two?
I have two kids, yeah. My son Chosen is 11 years old. My daughter Coco is 7 years old.
How do they react to all of this? I mean, do they see you doing all these things with running shoes and taking pictures, and they're seeing this whole craze? I mean, do they understand what's going on, or
no? They'll make fun of me, like they'll poke fun at me because, oh, you're taking a photo. Oh, do you have to podcast tonight? I'm like, yeah, I got a podcast. Like, so they'll poke fun at me, and I think they don't know any different, right? So they probably think every family
does that. Yeah.
Dad does something weird.
Yeah.
You know, they're not entirely wrong. Every family dad has some weird thing that they do.
Yeah. That's it.
Of course. Are they like in training though? Are you like you know what I'm saying? Are you trying to like maybe show them like
your kids wear some nice kicks? That's what I know. I've seen it.
Oh well, they don't. So I've included my son in a few photos. Like I included him in like one project, and then like Foot Locker would say, "Hey, do you want to take another picture of your son?" I'm like, "Okay, fine, let's do it." So they'd send him some stuff too. So every now and then he'll get it, but they don't have any interest in collecting.
Okay.
My daughter will every now and then go like I can see it. Like she goes to school and she's like packing an extra pair of sneakers. I go, what are you doing? You already have a pair of sneakers at school. she's like, she doesn't want to say it, but all her friends are stylish, you know. So she wants to change up her style. So I'm like, fine, whatever. Take it. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's pretty impressive though that you've gotten the attention of all these brands as a side thing, you know, just as a fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun.
Would this for you be something that you would want to do more of, like more as a like as an everyday thing, like as your main source of income?
No, but it's different for different people. My situation is, so I have a good enough job. The job pays the bills, and it is my side thing. It's my thing that I use to escape.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm so happy doing this side stuff, and like it brings me like a lot of connections. I meet a lot of people. I get to do weird stuff, things that not everyone does. Because I have all that, I can handle anything. Like, in terms of, you need to make, I can go to work every day and I'm not like bummed out. Like,
Yeah.
I can handle it. That's fine.
Because you look forward to whatever you're gonna have to do in the evening or over the weekend, or talking about the guys, or
Yeah, well, most of my stuff is online, right? So like I carry my my hobby with me everywhere I go. I'm wearing my hobby every day,
right?
right? I get to pick it. I am a bit weird. I carry my camera everywhere I go. So if ever, like, my thing isn't like, I have my camera and I have sneakers on, it's not in case something happens, is in hopes that something happens.
Yeah, right.
Like, I have it with me, and then like, this is like the perfect lighting, the perfect spot. Let me shoot something here, and I see it in my head, and I want to put it out to the world.
No, I get that because I've done photography, so I've gone through that craze, right?
Mhm.
Where you always needed to have the camera in case something came up. You know, you're just ready. The brands that you have, do you usually stick to one, or you just go with anything that you like or that you find that are interesting?
No, I'll sell out like real easy. Anyone? It's more. There's no one buys you out exclusively unless they're putting you on the payroll, right? So any brand can send me anything, and usually it's they'll contact me. They're like, "Hey, we have this coming up. Would you want a pair? Would you like to be involved in this campaign?" And I either say yes or no, and then they send me the product. And most of the time, it's like an unwritten, unspoken agreement that you send me free stuff, and I'll produce some content for you.
You'll advertise. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, right? I mean, you're getting shoes. The least you can do is just give a shout out. But is that common, or do people more often than not stick to one brand?
It's for the people that get a lot of product are usually multi-brand. Like, they just do everything, and then a lot of people hit them up. But
Right.
then every now and then, it's like I've heard of one brand approaching one person, but they're like, they only like one brand, and then they won't even respond to like
Oh wow.
brand B. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they have it like that.
And one thing I was thinking about, I don't know if it's common, but are there any pieces that are like a little bit more artistic, like an artistic shoe, maybe that somebody has painted on, or graffiti, or special colors, anything like that?
You know,
No, it hasn't become art yet.
So you have a group of guys that are like customizers, or there's actual people that can actually fabricate a whole new shoe out of like the base of a shoe or the silhouette of a shoe.
Right.
Those pieces, they don't normally like produce something and then it would gain value. It's a lot of commission work. Like, hey, I really like samurais. I'd like for you to like give me a samurai themed Air Max, and then the guy will like conceptualize it. And but those pieces go in like, it's a couple $1,000 to produce a shoe like that.
Oh wow.
So there's no market per se, and like there's no one out there looking for, I want a customized shoe. Like, if you want a custom shoe, you know who to go to.
Right.
But in terms of designers. There's some designers that are so hot right now that they could design a specific shoe, and if they were to sign the shoe, it would jump up that specific shoe's value. But you can't sell that on the resale market. You'd have to do like a private sale,
Right.
Because there's no category for like
or an auction. Yeah. For your kids, what's the limit on price? So let's say your kid walks in,
$20 or less.
Get out.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. So so a sneakerhead could do two things.
I don't mean I don't mean just the laces. I mean the shoe, like the whole thing.
So a sneakerhead could do two things. You could get all these cool collectible, like quote unquote collectible shoes, hype shoes, and really cool shoes for your kids to wear because you're a sneakerhead, or because you're a sneakerhead, you know where to find the deals. So I play that angle.
There you go. All right, cool. I just wanted to ask you that.
Oh yeah. And you shouldn't pay more than $20 each.
What?
Yeah.
It's hard.
No, I'll show you.
Yeah,
Text me your number, man.
If I could find them at my shoe size, you can find them at your shoe.
But that was an interesting question, because I mean, your kids see you spending all that money on shoes, and you're telling them, listen, this is the maximum. But at the same time, if you know the deals, I mean, they're probably getting good shoes.
My kids don't have any interest in what something costs, or like they don't care really what's on their feet. My daughter likes that there's pink in the shoe, but not too much pink.
Yeah,
my son doesn't give a shit. He'll wear anything.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Classic boy. I mean, I have two daughters, and I can totally relate to the pink and the little drawing of Elsa. Or whatever that snowman is called.
Olaf.
Olaf. Yeah.
Olaf, that's it.
Let's talk about the podcast. You guys start this because you guys have a shared interest and there's a passion for the sneakers. Do you have any expectation about the podcast? Are you thinking this is, we want to push it, we want to make it big? What are the expectations going into this?
So we're in season 5,
right?
So we've been at it for a while. When we first started it, it was more to see if we could do it and to see how many people would respond to it, right? We took Instagram, I think, as an example, because we if you connect with a lot of people on Instagram, you find a lot of like-minded people on Instagram, then why wouldn't they want to hear you talk about something that we all have an interest in, right? Then we didn't have any like lofty goals. It was just like, let's see if it does well and produce good content. So we started with that, and as it grew, so the funny thing is, my friend Mike, who started the podcast with me, his wife had her own podcast. Well, she still has that podcast. It's called Girls on Games, where it's about video gaming. And she's been at it for a long time. She's in like the entertainment industry, like the media industry. So we kind of like learn from her, and like what qualifies as good, what should we do, what shouldn't we do, and stuff like that. And we didn't know, but they told us that we had a good beginning. Like we started off strong and we're doing well, but we didn't know how to quantify that, because I don't know, you can't say, are we good? And then Google says, yeah, you are. No, we don't know. So we just kept at it, and we're like, oh, numbers are growing. We're getting pretty far, but there was never like a end goal. Like we've made it once this happens. We didn't have that idea in our head.
Yeah.
We just kept pushing until as long as we produced good content. And every now and then we'd like, okay, let's bring on a guest. Can we handle that? Okay, let's bring this show on the road. Can we handle that? Let's go mobile. Like we once did an interview at a SneakerCon in Toronto. And let's try to book this guy. Let's try to get that. Let's try to do this. And so we developed a style, and then we got a lot of good response, like from overseas and that's when you get surprised. You're like, who? There's one dude that's listening to us in England.
Yeah.
What's that all about? And you're like, what the heck? So you go from there, and we just kept pushing. And now, like, at this point, we're kind of like, we're having fun still, because when we talk, we've gotten to the point where we realize, okay, I can make fun of the guy that's in front of me, and it'll play. Like, people will like that.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to the point where people recognize our signatures. Like, they know that I'm this type of collector. Like, I'm the Jordan 1 guy. He's a Jordan 2 guy. And every now and then I'll make fun of the Jordan, like back and forth shit like that.
Yeah.
So, or they'll recognize that my friend keeps saying, like, I fucking love sneakers. Like, that's his tag, or whatever. So we go from there. And yeah, there was never any big goal. No.
So when did you guys start? How many years have you guys been at it?
Season 5, I think it was 2016 that we started.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But talking about content and blogging, Chris, you said, like, give me an example of what you would blog. You said you had a blog and you started with a small blog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would be an example of content you'd have, like, on a sneaker, let's say?
So my blog was designed to not battle the big blogs.
Okay.
There are big sneaker blogs out there. Like I mentioned, I had a good friend that started his own blog. He used to work for other blogs. He started his blog. His blog got big. It's still big. But what's up is that I knew there was no way I can compete with them. So I didn't want to try to compete against them. Mm-hmm. My idea was I'm the only Canadian one that I can find that's going to talk about the sneakerhead's life. So it wasn't about release information. It wasn't about this color of this shoe. It was more like, I'm a sneakerhead and it's not something that everyone understands. Let me tell you what my perspective.
So you wrote more about experiences rather than product.
That's how it started. That's how I pitched it. That's how it went out. And then my goal was always, okay, do that, get brands to see that, get brands to send me product because I wanted free shit, and then eventually break off from my own blog and become Christopher Chiu and do work under just me. And then at the same time, have all my friends work on the blog with me, and then them get their own personal projects as well.
Right.
And because there's this sneakerhead journey thing, it's not fun if you're alone.
Yeah,
the whole idea of being a sneakerhead is look at my shoes. You look at my shoes, right? And if there's no one there to look at your shoes, then why am I wearing shoes? So we tried to get as many friends involved in this stuff, and it just so happens that that's why a lot of my friends in the sneaker world are all the other content producers.
And I'm guessing this is, I don't want to sound sexist, but this is obviously more men dominated, right?
Oh, it's not sexist. This is true. Like, even the brands are producing more product for men than for women. They've started to really focus though and produce like releases that are only for women, but not to the same volume as men,
Right.
Yeah.
Have you seen? Go ahead, Chris.
No, go ahead, guys.
I was just going to ask if you've seen more and more women come into the sphere over the last years.
It's weird. Some of my very good sneaker friends are women.
Okay.
And so for me, there's always been a component of like there's always been, I know that there's women in this world, right? Like in the sneaker world, and they box as hard as men. Like if they know what they're doing, and then it's great because you'll find duds in the men for men.
It sounds like George fell down, man. He's like, he fell down a set of stairs. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's it.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Like your personal taste.
Yeah.
Would you rather see a woman in a nice sneaker or see a woman in a nice heel?
I'm a sneaker guy.
You're a sneaker guy. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
That proves you love sneakers.
Yeah, well, it's more in tune with my vibe because I'm not gonna wear like a dress shoe.
Got it.
Even
Right.
when you wear a suit, you're gonna.
When I wear a suit, I'll wear dress shoes. But like, yeah.
Chris, tell me something. Like, I mean, you have such a big passion for this. I mean, is this something that you would want to pass down to your kids? Like, I mean, if your kids develop zero interest in this, is that something that's gonna bug you or
No. I have enough like crazy focus on it for myself. Like to see my kid do it, it'd be fun. But I would like him or him and her to like something as much as I like it.
Yeah, share the passion.
are they?
Yeah.
Do you see them developing an interest in something in particular?
Like yeah, but I don't think they know it. Like if I ask them what they want to be when they grow up, they won't have an idea what to answer.
Yeah. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, it's tough,
But
especially if they're that young. They won't be able to formulate, right?
what are they into?
My son's always into like reptiles, like dragons and Godzillas and dinosaurs. So and it's not stopped since he was a kid. So I don't know what it's gonna be, but something like you know, you ever see your kids, like your kids are young, but you ever see them revert to even younger?
Yeah.
Like Chosen's grown now, but then you put a dinosaur in front of him and he's like, he's back to a kid, you know, like back to when he was.
It's like you subtract a couple of years.
Yeah. That's when I know I'm like, well, he likes dinosaurs.
Right.
Yeah.
And your daughter?
She's so it's cool to see her. She's being more mature. You have daughters, right?
I have 2 daughters, yeah.
Yeah. Do you find them more mature than yourself? Like how old are they?
No, they're too young. My eldest is 5. The other one just turned 2.
Yeah.
So they're just at that stage where everything is loud. Everything is just.
No, but in comparison, you're right, Chris. Women do mature. Well, girls mature faster than boys.
I find it like
sure.
she's like she's gone away from toys a bit, right? And she's gone more into like crafts.
Okay.
She's very artistic.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's that, and you're like, well, that's not a kid game. That's like productive. What are you doing? Like it's yeah.
Like she feels like it's in another world where she has her older brother still playing with dinosaurs, and good for him.
Yeah.
And she's just elsewhere. She's like, okay, what are we cooking today? Let me help mom bake a cake.
Oh yeah. She's making her breakfast. Like she's I see her setting up a stool, getting a pan. I'm like, whoa. That's a stove. You can't turn that on.
She's moving the pan. My goodness.
Awesome.
It's good that you have this passion, Chris, because there's parents that don't understand it and make it hard for their kids. So you're going to be the kind of person who, if you see something there and they explain it to you in a way that tells you that, okay, he does love this thing, you're going to help him out. So, and that could always lead to some kind of success, or even if it doesn't, just the fact of having an interest and keeping your focus on something other than a television and stuff, you know, it's rewarding in many ways, not only success.
Yeah.
Very important.
You know, it keeps you out of trouble. It keeps you out of the streets. It keeps you away from bad friends and bad habits. And, you know, I mean, I only speak from experience with the music, getting into it in, let's say, early adolescence. We were 15, 16 years old, and Friday, Saturday night, Chris was there. We'd be locked up in a studio, just banging away, trying to write a song, or trying to get it right, or trying to get it to sound better, or trying to improve something, rather than being out just hanging out and, you know, picking up people, maybe being influenced to do something illegal or something, you know, something like that. It definitely kept my hands clean.
We would do that after band practice.
Those 3 hours in band practice, though, you were clean.
That's right. That's right.
No, that's not true.
No.
What would we do? We would go jam for 3 hours and then go out and have a 6-hour conversation, meal and coffee about the jam and talk about the next jam, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important. It's what you're saying. You're right. Because I think where most people miss it is most parents want their kids to share their own passions, even though the key is you want your kid to develop a passion, whatever it is, as long as they like it. And that those two things are not the same thing. And that I find a lot of parents, when I talk to parents, they miss it. They miss that part.
When they could focus on a passion, they're not bored. And when you eliminate boredom, you know what? They stay out of trouble, man.
Yeah.
They stay out of trouble. They focus on improving something or learning something beyond what they knew before. And it's just one little step at a time. And it becomes something, it builds character, it builds passion, it builds a lot of things like that. It teaches you to love things and take care of them.
We're going to wrap it up because we've taken obviously a lot of time. And Chris, man, you've been very generous with yours. And thank you for coming on. Thank you for enlightening us on this universe that we understood nothing about.
Seriously.
No, but now, I mean, you're going to be much more attentive. You're going to be seeing a running shoe now, and you're going to be like, "Oh, what is that?" You know, like.
Well, I could tell you, most people are not Chris. Chris is like he said, he's the next level.
Yeah.
The people who are just before that, who just love collecting, they love the show that you produce. I know a guy who listens to your show that I work with. He owns tons of shoes. He's obsessed with shoes, and he heard of your podcast. He's listened to it many times, and that's who you're catering to. What you do gives these guys a voice, gives these guys an educated opinion. They take your advice and apply it somewhere, you know. So you're doing a service to people. You are, man. You're doing a lot of legwork, a lot of research that they don't need to do.
Yeah, I'm like there if they need to waste an hour or two every week. Yeah.
So be it.
So for the people listening, Chris, where do they find you? Where do they follow you?
You can find me on Instagram at Christopher.Chiu or the podcast at the Sneaker Podcast.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We do appreciate it, and we'll be seeing you soon, or at least I'll be following much closer your stuff, man.
Thanks.
I hope I see you at George's barbecue someday.
Yeah. Not too close though, eh? 2 meters,
Not
man.
too close.
Yeah,
Not too close. Don't worry.
We'll respect it.
If we ever a lot to do, and again.
Yeah.
Oh no, we will. Be optimistic. We will.
All right, boys. See you all.
Have a good one.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Ciao, boys.